I'm gonna wait just a little bit, just get a couple people to pay attention. Y'all see the title of the thing, so you kind of know where I'm gonna go with this. Just trying to get a couple people to pay attention. This is a real stressful time for different groups in the city because there's a lot of infighting. And you know, when you're a family, you're gonna have infighting, but you can't allow that to cause you to not continue to be a family. Because if you allow disagreements or misunderstandings or difference of opinion to get in the way, then the bigger picture of whatever issue you're dealing with is going to cause you to lose the battle and the war. So I try to go to as many places, as many locations that I know that have people, trying to do things to benefit the city in concern of this water issue. Hey, what's going on, Spence? Hey, Rich, how you doing? So, but with that, I get to see certain things that are disturbing. And people pass information my way and things. It's just different things. It's some stuff I try not to say too much stuff, but right now I feel like I might need to just kind of just drop a few things just to get it off my chest and to get it out in the world, so it may be properly responded to. That's what I'm gonna do. It's not. I'm not gonna be as deep as some of the other folks that that come out with all these documents. But I'm saying with people, person to person stuff. So I had a couple weeks ago some folks come to me that are water workers that wanted to speak on their grievances that they have, and they were reasonable and understandable because based on what their contracts say and what they were promised, those things weren't happening. And then there were different things that were going on that were causing them to feel more intimidated than anything, already stressful situation. How do you intimidate people in an artificial fix? The thing is, you're trying to put people at ease when it comes to you're trying to put people at ease with the jobs and things that are out here, dealing with the water, dealing with the information that's going out, all these different things. But when you have management or leaders that are bullying or not necessarily understanding what their job description should be, then it doesn't fall on the folks that are doing the work. It falls on the people that are training the leaders. So the leaders have to be trained correctly in order to cause the right things to go down the chain. And this stuff wasn't happening. So folks wanted to come together and protest and have civil unrest and all these different things. And I tried to create the opportunity for folks to speak to people with the state that could control their environment, to help them have a better work environment before all this stuff ends in September, based on the lawsuit. So the conversation happened. Things started changing immediately. Based on a lot of different folks were calling me and telling me like, yeah, they changed some things. Now they separated. It's no longer one bus. We have several buses. They're trying to get some of these career coaches to do their jobs, but they're not really doing them. It's still the same, but they changed their tone. So things were changing, which, okay, that's a plus. But yet and still, it's not appeasing the sensitivities of what this is. With the jobs, dealing with this water, folks that are working were underemployed or difficult to employ. And because of that, that means that some of these folks haven't worked in years, 2, 3 years, 4 years. So now you have people that have the opportunity to work, and they are doing this, and they're happy because they're functioning, they're doing things, they're paying bills, and they're being able to save some money, they're being able to go and see life from a different perspective, because now they feel functional. And this stuff is going to end. There needs to be a transition with that. And that transition that was supposed to be put out there hadn't been working right. So hopefully I explained that correctly. But that was one issue that created some unrest in the city. A real unrest. Now, I'm not talking about just some, I'm talking about folks that was ready to fight, ready to, to do some stuff, because you playing with their lives, you playing with their money, you playing with their emotions. This water, we didn't create this water crisis, this water disaster. We did not create this. Flint, Michigan residents didn't create this. People in elected positions chose certain things because of whatever reasons, and that caused us to be in the situation we're in. So now the fix isn't really a fix. It's just a Band-Aid over a freaking semi-truck accident. So now we have a lot of people that feel disgruntled, that are going through issues, that are trying to work things out, but there's no sound leadership that is giving guidance and some strong words of encouragement to let folks know that things are going to be all right. You have to have leadership in place to encourage folks. That's why as a country we have a president. That's why as a state we have a governor. That's why as a city we have a mayor. But somewhere along these lines, in this whole lineage of everything, we're not getting that as a people, not as a country, not as a state, not as a city. We're not getting it. If we were, then there'd be more cooperative opportunity. There would be less disgruntled folk working against each other, and more people working with each other to find the solutions. So that's one thing. The water workers, now try to get things with that going, but some folks didn't want to come to the table and talk to anybody from the state or anybody from the city, because politics. What is that? Politics is, a wise man told me that politics is the art of compromise. So if you just gonna tell me something but do something different to try to do as little as what you said you were gonna do as possible, but in a legal sense, then why would I want to do business or deal with you when you're going to just try to slide yourself out of whatever it is that we agreed to? I'd rather do things my way, the way I'm going to do them. And, when my word says what it is, then it's bond. Instead of dealing with somebody where your job and your livelihood is on compromise and on making decisions based on going through loopholes and trying to get around realities of a lot of people's lives. One thing. Okay, now we got a lot of Facebook battles going on now, and it's not cool. It's not just one person, 2 people, 3 people, like dozens upon dozens upon dozens upon dozens of people that are having issues with one another on Facebook like this is some kind of gang fight or something. It don't even make no sense. Now, there's no reason that we can't sit down, have some logical conversation, and disagree with a lot of things each other have to say, but still come to an agreement on what we need to do to push forward. Because things are getting ready to change. It's not if, it's when. It's when the dates come and when things are satisfied, when the water quality hits a certain thing, then things are going to leave. So what needs to happen is people need to take the opportunity that we have while the world is watching, while there are people paying attention to this city, to come together and come up with solutions. So once everybody's gone, we still have a means to sustain life, a means to create opportunities for ourselves outside of this thing that's going on now. Because if you keep bickering and fighting over social media or even in public or on the streets because of, this person doing that and this person doing the other, then we're never going to come together for solutions. Now, we have people that are against the mayor's recall and people that are for it. Okay, my personal feelings on the recall is that it's the right of the community to do what is lawfully theirs to do. And it's the right of people to disagree or to agree. I'm only concerned about people's rights. Now, the mayor, she's a grown woman, so she knew what she was getting involved in. She knew that this seat was a hot seat. She knew that the things that she was getting into was going to be controversial and very strong. It was going to be probably one of the toughest jobs she ever had. So if she doesn't have herself in a position where she understands mentally and spiritually where this is, then she has no one to blame but herself, because this is like the worst time to be a political figure, because you have 100,000 people that are dealing with a tragedy. And so you're going to have all kinds of emotions floating, all kinds of people saying things about you, all kinds of people trying to discredit you, all kinds of everything. But you have to push through that and show, not in private or not just behind the scenes, show people that this is what's going on, period. We are going to fight and get through this, and that's it. But, there's differences on that. And I'm saying it's politics. So people ask for the job. When you're a politician, you ask for the job. And my thing with that is that you don't disrespect a person personally. Okay, the office of mayor is something that you can criticize because it's your right as a public citizen to do that if you don't agree. But the person, now that's something that you critique before you put somebody in office. You don't pick somebody that you feel is going to go a different direction or different way and not do what's best for the citizens. The same thing with the governor, the same thing with the president. We have who we have now, and we have to use their services for our behalf as best as we can, because they are in office. And if we don't agree, then okay, yeah, you have your ability to go and pull that person out of office as best as possible. But there should never be an opportunity for people to quiet anybody, for anybody to try to denounce anyone's right to be a free-thinking American citizen, the right to agree or disagree with a viewpoint. But in a situation like this, as sensitive as this issue, all the compiled issues in Flint, we are under-policed, overcrimed. We have a drug epidemic going on that I believe is worse than back in the 90s when it was the crack era. And we have a freaking financial disaster by itself. We have a food desert all in one, and we have a water disaster all in one. Now, with all these things that you put in the pressure pot and it'll probably pop that lid, Flint has been very, 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 very quiet in the sense of how people respond to all the pressure that's on us. But if folks keep on bickering, the right conversation is going to be had, and the wrong person is going to do the wrong thing and create a fire that won't be quenched. Because folks don't play around here. We care about people. We gonna show you respect. We gonna do everything to bring out the carpet for whoever comes and shows up. We're gonna give you hospitality, but don't ever get it twisted or forget that this is Flint, Michigan. And check the stats. Folks are not playing games around here. We don't do that. And if somebody's cousin, uncle, brother, sister, whatever, take something the wrong way and feel some kind of way about something somebody did, then best believe there will be a response. But on top of that, this is how I feel. If that's how you're going to do and how you feel about people that are activists, that are trying to speak their mind and all this other stuff, then you need to take your gangster tail and get up, and you need to put your voice out there for people that have poisoned you too. Folks that were in position that caused you to be, it had the rashes that you scratching right now, or the eczema that's on your skin right now, or your baby losing their hair right now. Don't get gangster on some folks that are trying to figure out which side is up. Don't get upset about some stuff that because somebody's standing right next to you. If you're gonna ride, then you ride because it's what's going on, the right thing to do. You don't get upset at people that are trying to figure out how to get a solution in a situation that's hell from the start. If you want to speak up, if you want to fight, then you don't fight your neighbor. You fight the thing that you are being oppressed by, and you keep your voice out there. You don't turn it into something negative, into something violent, into something that's dragging people down. That's counterproductive. It's counterproductive to have all these little Facebook fights, to be out here in these streets and try to intimidate folks like folks ain't, like, okay, we both breathing and we can both stop breathing. That doesn't make no sense. Who and why would you want to stop the next person from speaking and having a voice? You can't, that's not what you do. Not in this city. So what we need to do is have a sit down, because at first, when it first started, everybody was, holding hands and kumbaya and all this other stuff. And now it's like nobody can talk to nobody. No, everybody's got something slide to say on the side. Now anything that I've said, and I'm saying this because I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of people. Whatever I said behind your back, whether it was good, bad, or indifferent, I say it to your face. But I'm not going to slander anybody purposely, and I'm just going to state my opinion. But I'm saying all these things that are going on right now, it's unnecessary. Okay, we got folks living out in Camp Promise, and that camp should have 1,000 tents in it right now because of the content of why they're doing it. We should have peaceful protests and peaceful demonstrations all over the city, because it should represent and be a place where you can come and say, look, this is Flint, Michigan. This is where the UAW was born. This is where minorities had the lay down and the sit down and got the right to live wherever they want to in the country, and so on and so forth through the history of Flint. This should be a mecca of where you can protest peacefully and do what it is that your freedom of a citizen rights are to do. But now we turn it into some kind of clown show that doesn't make no sense. So, okay, it don't matter if a person is from here or not. If they're doing right by people, then give them a pass so they can do right by people. Okay, it doesn't matter if a person is asking a bunch of questions and has a loud, a boisterous way about doing it, because guess what? Those questions need to be asked. We have to come to a point of understanding that we may not agree about everything, but the water issue, the crime issue, the blight issue, the gentrification issue, all these issues that we have that are macro and micro and all in the same pot, we need to pay attention to. We have to pay attention to, because if you don't pay attention to all these things and try to get a little bit fixed before everybody's out of here, because the state and the federal government and the politicians are not going to stick around forever. They got other jobs to do. Flint is one city out of a whole state. If we don't come together and get it together, then we just gonna be completely a write-off, or acceptable loss for real. Like, man, y'all ain't about nothing. Y'all ain't talking nothing. So we about to leave. That's how it's gonna be. But if we come with make sense of this situation amongst each other and have some bullet points of support to succeed or support to find opportunity out of this disaster, then we might get a little further. But if we don't, if for one, some of y'all don't get out your houses and start actually going to some of these meetings and at City Hall and some of these meetings at the different locations, then why are you complaining about something you're not even getting information about? You're not even trying to get informed about what's going on in life. You taking secondhand information, or you just, choking on somebody else's words, and you won't go out there and get your own information. Okay, I only know so much. The next person only knows so much. You need to know for yourself. It's just like religiously, you got to have your own self-salvation together. So, I mean, this may be the dumbest post I ever do to some people, but to me, I'm just upset. I'm disappointed. I'm an emotional person right now, because I'm seeing a lot of things that shouldn't be or shouldn't go as far as they're going a way that it don't even make no sense. And we all gonna lose. We all gonna be losers out of this situation, And, you're going to have some folks that's going to win because they making money out of the middle of it. They know how to sell and hustle different things and get paid and create opportunity for themselves. Okay, God bless them. That's great. That's what hustlers do. But as a whole, we have to come together and figure this thing out and stop playing around and acting like we're uneducated and we're at the bottom crust of earth. Because that's not what the city's about. That's not who we are as a people. And the best of us are still here in the city. The best of us didn't leave. The best of us are still trying to do better. So I'm saying sometimes the faces of a situation need to change in order for people to feel comfortable again, or faces need to get out there so people can follow and be a part of a unit that is strong and that will get things done. You have to do something different. You have to do something different, because this arguing stuff is old. It's old. And guess what? I don't care what anybody say about me. I'm not going to be Facebook responding. That's not what I do. If I have an issue with you, this is a small city. I'll come say hi to you and we'll have some tea and cookies and talk about it. So my thing is that I want us to do as much as we can to get solutions. Jobs are going to end. We need to transition into getting other jobs. I have a job fair that I am associated with and putting out in August 11th at the Job Corps. So if you have employers, or if you're an employer, then please attach yourself to the job fair so we can employ some folk. There's a lot of solutions that we can come up with. A lot of them. Let's come up with the solutions, because ignorance is the easiest thing to fall into. It's the easiest thing to play with. Ignorance is a toy that most don't know how to manage, and it's a lot of people mismanage. It's just crazy. I don't know. I'm rambling now, and I'm feeling like I'm sounding crazy. But I know I'm not crazy, and I know I said some good stuff. So hopefully y'all can take all the meat out of everything I said and use it and tell the ignorant folk that's trying to create problems and disaster around you to get it together so we can come together before this situation is something that we can't even come back from. I'm done for real.